I don't mind going to a job where there's intensity. I don't mind going into a job, almost every job that pays anything, there's pressure. But I was given a great advice years ago. Just know the expectations of your boss. What are expectations for your boss? Because that will turn a great job into a lousy job. And you're seeing this with actors. That really, really talented actors now are choosing Netflix over movies. Now, movies pay more, but unless it's a great movie, if it doesn't open strong on the opening weekend, it can ruin your career. George Clooney said last weekend, I may get out of acting. Netflix has no rating system. So you get critical acclaim at Netflix and realistic expectations. Jim Harbaugh came out yesterday. According to Brady Quinn, Fox Sports Radio, they're working on a lifetime contract.
I talked to someone who's kind of an insider within that program, and when we had a long, drawn-out conversation, what he told me was they're working on a lifetime contract. I swear to you, I'm not trying to throw a wrench in this whole thing. That was his words. I kind of pressed him on it. I said, really? Like a lifetime deal, what would that even look like? He couldn't give me particulars, but he said that's one of the things that they're talking about. That's how confident, that's how good they feel about Jim Harbaugh and how glad they're having him there. So maybe it's something that he wants.
Now, we can all be cynical and say, oh, they're just doing this because he lost to Wisconsin. He's going to lose to Ohio State. But to sign a lifetime contract, he would have a massive buyout. Okay, he's not like he's going 11-0, 11-0, 11-0. They're going to get something back at Michigan, right? That if he does leave, he's going to have to pay a buyout. I think this comes down to the Netflix effect in movies. Unrealistic expectations in the NFL. David Shaw, NFL wants him, no thanks. Saban, NFL wants him, no thanks. Harbaugh, NFL wants him, no thanks. Urban Meyer, NFL wants him, no thanks. The movies now are unrealistic. Great opening weekend, career's over. Netflix, more realistic. Critical acclaim, nobody really knows how many people watch it. That's why actors are choosing Netflix. We got John Gruden, 10 years been offered NFL jobs, no thanks. Jimmy Johnson, last 12, 15 years offered NFL jobs, no thanks. Bill Cowher, last decade offered multiple jobs, no thanks. TV is now a better job than, think about this, talking football on TV is a better job for an NFL coach than an NFL coach. This is what the SEC is facing. Unrealistic expectations. Coaches don't mind pressure and intensity, but they don't want to win 9 games in a conference and get fired. Jason Garrett's 18-7 last 25 games. They want him out. Marvin Lewis, 6 10-win seasons. They want him out. Bill O'Brien's got no quarterback. 9-7, 9-7, 9-7 Houston. They want him out. Now, Jimmy Johnson talked about this yesterday. The college job, now that it pays, is better than the NFL job.
Without question, the college job's a better job. You have a life. The problem was, when I was in pro football, I also did personnel. So I did coaching and personnel, and that was 12 months out of the year, 7 days a week.
This graph, remember the graph we showed you. The NFL is on pace now. The expectations are so unrealistic. They're on pace to have 90 coaches in this decade. This is why Denver has to hire a coordinator with 1-year experience. Why the Chargers hire a coordinator with very little experience. Because the top college guys, no thanks. The top football coaches on TV, no thanks. Pressure and intensity don't scare people. Unrealistic expectations do. The NFL now is such a massive business that crazy owners and pressurized GMs are demanding that Bill O'Brien win more than 9 games a year with Brock Osweiler? Are you watching Denver? That they're demanding that Jason Garrett do better than 18-7 with Dak Prescott? Are you watching the NFC? Jim Harbaugh is saying, hey, I can control it. I can win 9 games. I have to occasionally start beating Ohio State. But here's another example of a really good coach who the NFL, you don't think Chicago wants him? You don't think the Bears are interested? You don't think the Colts are interested? You don't think Tampa could be interested? You don't think Jacksonville could be interested? No, I'll stay in college. College football playoff rankings came out last night. And so the college football playoff rankings, by and large, I don't have a big problem with them. You know, Bama, Miami, Clemson, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Auburn, Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, college playoff rankings. There they are, and I don't have a real problem with any of them. I mean, it's all going to sort itself out here Friday, Saturday. This thing won't look like this. But I have said for years, I go to pregame.com, I look at their college football rankings because they only care about money. There's no regional bias. There's no bias in Las Vegas. What is the big disparity? There's two of them, and let's concentrate on one, Miami. Okay, the college people have Miami 2. Vegas has Miami 9. I just want you to think about this. Isn't the primary reason we love the Hurricanes this year because they crushed Notre Dame? I mean, ask yourself, what's their biggest win? Virginia Tech at home. Virginia Tech's 4-3 in the ACC with no quality wins. This is what I call the Notre Dame effect. Is the reason everybody thinks Miami is good is because they beat Notre Dame soundly. And the reason everybody thinks USC is bad is Notre Dame beat them soundly. And the reason we fell in love with Georgia a year too early was because they beat Notre Dame. Folks, Notre Dame's okay, and Notre Dame has a history of doing something every single year. I went back a decade. Notre Dame, last 10 years, month by month. And do you know what I found? And I don't necessarily have a reason for it, but they win 70% of their games in September, 76% of their games in October, and then they become a 500 team after that. Is it because they lack, due to their tough academics, the depth and layers of talent? So when injuries pile up, they're not the same team. But I call this the Notre Dame effect, that we suddenly think a USC team that has the best player maybe in the country at the most important position, that's second in college football in sacks, that one of the 5 or 6 or 7 best running backs in the country in a legitimate conference, we think now they're terrible because Notre Dame beat them. And now we think Miami is great. Oh, my God, Miami is unbelievable because they beat Notre Dame. This happened last year. Remember when Notre Dame played Texas? Remember that wild game with Charlie Strong? Oh, my God, Texas looks so good. Charlie Strong is getting fired. We massively overrated to a game involving Notre Dame. Look at how much influence they've had on this poll this year. We thought Charlie Strong was going to make it because of the Notre Dame game. We think USC's terrible. They're not because of the Notre Dame game. We think Miami's great because of the Notre Dame game. Let me tell you about Miami. I love their story. But do you want to know why Vegas has them 9th? Because they're 7th in the ACC in defense and 6th in the ACC in offense. They're not even dominant, and they haven't played a quote, great team. They're not even dominant in their own conference offensively or defensively, and they have yet to win a road game of note, struggling in 2 of their 3 against average teams. The Notre Dame effect. It's real, it's predictable, and as much as I want Miami to play in the playoff, I think they're good, not great. And we put way too much emphasis on that Notre Dame win.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.